Hello guys and gals, me Mutahar, and AAA gaming might as well be dead, okay? I know I made this video doom and gloom a whole heck of a lot, alright? But, this marks like the 8th video game on the PC in general that's been unfinished, unreleased, buggy as all heck, and one that is genuinely worthy of getting 64 on Metacritic. Now, there's a game known as Redfall. Now, you might have remembered I talked about Redfall a little bit ago, where literally they were like, we're gonna have a 60 frame rate mode later, guys. I think I even saw, like, literally on the back of the boxes, they even had to stamp that on there to remind people, hey guys, I promise you we'll finish this game at some point. And obviously, I already knew the warning signs were right there. When you've got Series X and the PlayStation 5, well, it's not even on PS5, but when you got a game on the Series X that doesn't run well, the game is probably going to be unoptimized. I know people are like, but Muta, consoles suck. At the end of the day, with PC prices right now, buying a PS5 and an Xbox Series S or X may not even be a bad option for people who just want to play a video game, okay? I told you, Star Wars Jedi Survivor just came out, and I'm playing on, like, welfare resolutions, okay? Homeless resolutions, minefield resolutions, okay? And people who have PlayStation 5s, yeah, you're gaming at, like, 864p, like sub 720, but at least you're getting like 30 frames consistent, I guess. So, I mean, who's the loser now? Me or the PlayStation gamer? Look, Redfall is a game that got a terrible review score because this is one of those games that's just genuinely bad. I'm not even getting into the fact that it's gotten mostly negative all over Steam right now, mostly because it's not just a bad game, but because it's also a game that has a severe performance penalty on PC. Now, I played this game a little bit on the Game Pass Series X version, so I don't know, but I'm not going to doubt the fact that this Unreal Engine 4 unoptimized shithole is probably bad. Now, of course, ladies and gentlemen, to give you positive news, I just played like 7 hours of Tears of the Kingdom, okay? I was at a friend's house and somehow they managed to have access to the game earlier, whether it be on emulation or, whether it be, in the hands. I swear to God, I've purchased the game. I'll show you the goddamn receipt right here. I spent my $100, okay? So even if I secondhand experience the game, trust me, I didn't commit a massive sin. Now, am I going to show you footage of this gameplay? Are you crazy? You want me to get killed? You think Nintendo's already got a hit squad out right now, dude? I ain't catching bullets. But after playing 7 hours of this game, Tears of the Kingdom, I'm glad to say it's probably my most favorite game of the fucking year. No joke. This is what happens when a game... Imagine Nintendo, who's literally producing on the most homeless of hardware, mobile technology from a decade ago. Actually, they produced an amazing Legend of Zelda game. Yes, it's more of Breath of the Wild, but dude, I thought Breath of the Wild was one of the best games ever made. And I know some people are like, wow, Muta, give me your gamer card. Breath of the Wild sucked, okay? Well, your opinion, man. I thought it was good. And you know what? More of it, I'm enjoying it. I genuinely feel like they've redone Hyrule's map up a little bit. It's insane. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, Redfall being a game that has dropped down, it's one of these games where I genuinely don't know what Arcane was going for. Arcane's one of those developers where I loved their shit when it came to like Dishonored. Bro, I loved Prey. Prey is literally one of my top 10 games of the year. Games of my life. Prey. The absolutely brilliant 2016-2015 reboot, brilliant title. Then, of course, Deathloop came by and put me into a goddamn coma, and Redfall is an open world that's somehow deader than Death Stranding. Now, I'm not even joking when I say this. First off, can we just all agree open world games need to just chill out? Now, there are some games that are open world that I think work really well, okay? Metal Gear Solid 5, I think it's a great open world game, all right? Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, great open world games, all right? Assassin's Creed 2, brilliant open world title. Why is it that literally these game developers decide that by slapping in a lifeless open world, somehow people are gonna salivate? You know what I think most open world games are now? Level select screens. Because every time you open it up, it's always the same fucking collectible map, right? Like, hey man, here's a new location. Go to this tower, unfog the map. Wow, collect 6 collectibles. Hey, here's your next main mission. The main mission mission might as well be the level select, okay? I might as well just insta-warp there to continue through the game. All the open world does is pad it out, and it makes it look like a bigger game for people who are just normie gamers, okay? Somebody fires up a game and they're like, well, the map size is huge. I hope it's as big as my country. Why? There's nothing to do. Why do you care? When I was playing this game, literally all you can do is just watch live streams of this game too and find out that Arcane doesn't even know what it wants to do. Do they want to make a looter shooter? Do they want to make an immersive game? Congratulations, it fails in every regard. You know, visually looking at the character models in the very beginning of the game, which typically should, like, just signal you what you're about to expect for the rest of the experience, it looks like a fucking PlayStation 3 title, an Xbox 360 title. The AI in the game is a joke, and it's something I'll get to a bit later when I compare it to a game that's far older than this, but one thing that really gets me is how is this a next generation experience? Aside from having a, open world the size of my fingernail and about as alive as Death Stranding, I have to just ask you, what does this game do that is so different from a game released well over a decade ago? You could load up Borderlands right now, play cooperatively with your friends against enemies, loot and shoot, far better than you're doing over here. It almost feels like this era of gaming, this genre has been so hard stuck in the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 days that we might as well why is anybody getting excited for this? This is not some new take. This is not an evolution of that experience. This is the same game, arguably, in my opinion, worse on modern generational systems, the same game that me and you were playing as children, as teenagers, back in the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3 days. You know, nothing stops you from saving the 77 gigabyte download and just getting Borderlands 1, 2, or 3, or any other equivalent looter shooter, because there are obviously equivalent games, and just playing that cooperatively with your friends. Like, if this game wasn't on Game Pass for the normies to just download it and play it for the weekend alone, this wouldn't even be successful. This is a game where even the shooting mechanics never felt right. Honestly, this gave me an excuse to download Borderlands and dump a couple hours into there and actually have fun. And you know what the funniest thing is? I can genuinely see that there is some good game somewhere in this tossed around. The problem is, it should have taken a year or two extra to release. I don't know why game developers have decided that suddenly, out of nowhere, the best course of action when it comes to making a video game is to announce it and then release it in an unfinished state and somehow expect that gamers enjoy this shit. Now, Redfall is an innovative title, in that somehow this is the only game that's managed to self-copyright strike their own Twitter banner. Somehow, I don't even know how that happens. But when you talk about shit like innovation, I genuinely feel like innovation died since the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 days. Playing Redfall reminds me that, I could just load up Borderlands 1 on the PlayStation 3, fire up split screen with my bro, and have a good time. You know what Redfall doesn't have? Split screen. And part of me wonders why. Why don't they have split screen for a game like this? Especially a looter shooter that, in my opinion, doesn't do anything different than Borderlands or any of these other 4-player cooperative shooters. Now, for Microsoft, who is buying IPs and studios, or trying to as much as they can't even manage the few studios that they have. Literally, Halo Infinite, dud on release. Redfall, dud on release. And honestly, after playing this and the quality control at Microsoft, I don't even have much hope for Starfield. Not even the fact that Todd Howard is a bigger liar than most fucking politicians. I don't have any hype knowing that the quality standard on Xbox is so low at this moment in time. I think a lot of it also has to do with the fact that Game Pass is a thing. And while I like Game Pass, I think it's cool that you can pay a few bucks a month and get access to 100 games. How many of them are actually high quality? I feel like for a lot of gamers who are defending this pile of trash, literally are defending it because, it's on Game Pass, dude. As if just because it's part of a subscription service that your standards have to be so low that anytime a company can release trash like this that performs like ass and plays like like ass and is genuine ass that you somehow have to get up and defend this. At the end of the day, this is a full-priced release that these guys want to pit onto you that is completely unfinished, could have done with 2 extra years of development, no joke, and have actually been a good title. Again, when it comes to game companies releasing video games that are unfinished piles of trash, it's like, why? Why do you go down that route? Look, I get it. You have investors. You have to pressure and release these games so you can meet your deadlines and budgets. But one bad game released in such a shit state is always going to be the thing that people remember. If this game was good, nobody would be talking about like, oh, Redfall's a great game. But yeah, no, they're going to be talking about the fact that its performance is bad. Now, yes, this game is genuinely awful. It's a dead, lifeless world. But even with Jedi Survivor, which is a good game, like objectively, the gameplay is good, the performance is bad. What do people talk about? The shitty launch. Cyberpunk 2077 could patch itself a million times over again and be a genuinely 10 out of 10 experience. But what are people going to talk about? The shitty launch that happened. Again, I don't get why in this space that games cost the money that they do, because it's literally not even money you're tossing into development. I could guarantee a larger chunk of the budget is mostly to advertising anyways. And what are you advertising? To get people to pre-order, buy in day one, not be able to refund, and be genuinely given a lemon. It's so insane playing a game like this where even the AI is so, like, awful in comparison to games released, like, well over a decade ago. Now, this is a game known as First Encounter Assault Recon Fear, very early PS3 360 game. And the gunfights in this are still, to this day, in my opinion, unrivaled when it comes to other single-player experiences. Now, I know you're going to be like, but Redfall's an open-world game, Muda. There's so much dynamic play and progress. And I get it. I understand. All AI isn't the same. But this is genuinely a period where like game developers were more focused on pushing those boundaries. We went from the PS2 era of gunfights to the next generation with so much exploding materials, so much visual intensity, and also having AI that actually plays like proper human beings, okay? This is a genuinely amazing game to have actual gunfights in. Games like Redfall are actually even inferior to open world looter shooters of the 360 PlayStation 3 era as well. So again, I don't know where that extra development budget is going. Sure, the games, I guess, look prettier or nicer, which is very, very debatable, but the gameplay has never changed. If anything, the gameplay is so hard stuck in that PlayStation 3 360 era, and honestly, it feels like it's really downgrading from that too. Like, if you're going to talk about the state of the AAA industry, it needs to have some level of crash. Because at some point, these budgets have to stop ballooning, but these games actually have to be genuinely good. You know, when I refunded Jedi Survivor, I bought a game on Steam that was a detective mystery, which, again, the name is completely escaping me. I think it's Shadows of Doubt. But I bought that and a bunch of other indie titles, and I can tell you right now that I can put hundreds of hours into each of those games, because yeah, while they might not be the most Hollywood AAA banger experiences, it's made by people that understand the gaming industry, and they understand literally what addictive gameplay loops are. And yes, I'm going to be playing those titles, and I'm going to be enjoying them far more than I ever would enjoy Arcane's Redfall. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it's a trash game. And honestly, I don't know how much longer the industry can really handle this. But then again, I don't really even think a video game crash will happen, because video gaming makes more money than it ever has been. There's a lot more normies that are in the industry than ever before. When the last gaming crash happened, it was literally a hobby for niche individuals. Now it's a hobby that makes more money than movies and television. And people come in and spend $60, or they buy it on Game Pass, and even if the game is dog shit for the average normie consumer, at least they get to have a few beers and play co-op with their friends. Yeah, the game is nothing special, but who cares? They're not even playing for the game in the first place. They're playing for the social aspect of it. And ultimately, it's people like me and you, and genuinely the people that are watching, that want high-quality gaming experiences that genuinely get better each generation. We're the ones that have to deal with this pile of crap being thrown onto us. And you know the funny thing is, especially for single-player titles, when games like this come out in a shitty state and people refund and don't buy it because of genuinely terrible releases, and then these game companies have the balls to say that the interest has died off, no, the quality has dropped off. The quality quality of the experiences that we purchased have fallen off. You know, every time, I don't know why, look, for the last year, in my head, I've been more nostalgia-pilled for like shit like Xbox 360 eras of gaming and the PlayStation 3 era. It's why I've been emulating so much lately. It's why a lot of my content has shifted towards that. Because back when I was younger, games might have been less complex, but honestly, releases like Halo 3, releases like Gears of War 3 had more impact because they were finished titles on release. They had all their features, and honestly, even if they had technical issues back in the day, the patches weren't so relied upon, and genuinely you would have a pretty feature-complete experience, relatively bug-free on release. Nowadays, it's like when the game comes out, for a fucking year straight, it's gonna be in early access. You know why I'm not excited about Starfield? Because I know when that drops towards the end of the year, it's gonna be so bug-ridden that genuinely trying to finish it is going to be an exercise in cock and ball torture, and you might as well wait 6 months before it's even in a playable state. Is that the industry that I enjoy? Hell no. But it's the industry that we have to deal with. Honestly, at this moment in time, fuck AAA gaming. There's a few developers and a few games that come out every year that are genuinely worthy of that AAA tag. But for the most part, get yourself indie pilled, man. Play some indie titles. Because I'll be honest, if you've ever been jaded in gaming, it's the quickest way to get rid of that fog and have a great time. Anyways, this is me, Mudahar, and if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. I am out.